You show the
Alright guys, hey, here's the table of contents. So if I figure out how, I'll add an annotation so you can just click the number and you'll be put right there, but if not, you'll have to put it in, sorry. Alright, hey guys, what's up? It's Juicedon and welcome to my Korasi anti-rushing guide. Alright, so first of all, what is anti-rushing? Anti-rushing is a form of PKing where you can PK great amounts of money in just a few seconds from rushers who are not expecting to die. So there are a few requirements to anti-rush with Korasi, and number 1 is 94 magic and completion of the Lunar Diplomacy quest for access to the Vengeance spell in the Lunar Spellbook. Korasi's sword from the Void Stairs back quest would be the second requirement. This will be used to give the finishing blow to the rusher. This can be replaced by a dark bow, however I have no experience ever using a dark bow. The third and fourth requirements are not technically requirements because you do not actually necessarily need them to kill the rusher. However, the Ring of Recoils will be used to greatly increase the damage given back to the rusher before the Korasi spec is activated, and the Phoenix Necklace will be used to save yourself from getting clawed out by the rusher. High combat stats along with a high prayer level will also be a huge advantage when anti-rushing, because a high attack and strength level will cause your Korasi to hit higher and more consistently, and a high prayer level is a big advantage because prayers like Turmo and Piety will also cause your spec to hit higher. When anti-rushing, you can either use the melee, mage, or range equipment setup, which each have their own pros and cons that will affect how successful your anti-rush is. Firstly, I'll show the melee setup followed by its pros and cons, and please remember, all items can be changed around to create your own unique setups. This is just my recommended setup. Also remember, I am a 45 defense Zerker peer, so I cannot wear Dragon for example. So if you're a higher defense, you can put on a Dragon Defender or an Obby Shield or Dragon Boots to increase your strength bonus. So to create a setup, all you basically have to do is pretty much look like a PKer and have high strength bonus. Out of this setup, I'm showing D-Skim, Whip, and Sarah Sword, but you can choose whatever weapon you like, but just make sure it's a fast weapon so that you can switch to your Korasi in time. Also, never start by equipping the Korasi because rushers will almost always pray magic if you have a Korasi equipped. So here are the pros and cons of melee. The pros would be that people using melee are rushed most often, most likely, because they are mostly melee PKers in the wilderness and you're not looking out of the ordinary. Also, another pro would be that you have more risked wealth because it costs more compared to, for example, D'hide if you're ranging, so more rushers will be interested in rushing you. Now for the melee cons. More risked wealth would also be a con because if you die, you're losing more money. Another con would be melee armor has high defense. This means that when you get rushed, the claw specs will most likely be lower than if you were wearing D'hide, for example, so your vengeance will hit back lower as well. The final con of using melee when anti-rushing is that most rushers pray melee, so when they rush you, you always get one hit back before you Korasi spec, and you probably won't be able to do any damage through their prayer. So now I'll be analyzing a clip of me anti-rushing my friend in the Clan Wars safe portal. This is pre-recorded. So what I want to do is stand here, I'm already potted up, my turmoil and prayer is already on, and then I right-click Vengeance, click F1 on my keyboard so it goes right above where my Korasi is. Now I just have to wait for him to rush me. Now when he rushes me, I wait for the 4th damage of the claw spec before I revenge. Now right when I see that, I revenge, click the Phoenix Necklace, click the Korasi, click on spec, and then spec him for the KO. Now you just have to wait for your spec to activate, and it should kill him. Now for the mage equipment followed by its pros and cons. For the mage equipment, the only really one that works is the Polypore Staff because then you can still be on the Lunar Spellbook and using Vengeance. Pretty much for this setup, you still want to wear a Berserker Helm, Colormancer gloves, Rune Boots because you still want to have high strength bonus, then just wear Mystic for a higher Polypore hit. Also in this clip, I should have been wearing a God Cape and a Zamorak's Unholy Book, but I did not have it at the moment and I am extremely lazy right now. Now for the mage pros and cons. For the pros, it would be most rushers pray melee and your Polypore can hit right through it. The low defense armor of your Mystic will cause the Vengeance to hit very high back on the rusher. The final pro would be that more risked wealth equals more interested rushers. Now for the cons of mage. The Mystic is more expensive than Rune or D'hide, so that you have a higher risked wealth. The rusher might also pray mage if he sees you have a Polypore, causing your Korasi to hit garbage. Also, the final con would be you might kill yourself with their Vengeance, because if you get a high hit with the Polypore and their Vengeance, the Venge will not activate your Phoenix Necklace and you will not survive. When using a weapon like Polypore or Rune Sibo that doesn't have a special attack weapon, you'll want to set up my inventory like this and the Venge screen down like that instead. So then you want to right click the weapon, the Korasi, and put it over the Phoenix Necklace. The reason you do this is the Korasi has a delay when coming out if the weapon you're using does not have a special attack. So if I did it the normal way and clicked the Korasi last, I would not be able to click on the spec and I would end up poking with the Korasi. So here you see when he rushes me, I do the same thing, except I just right click that, click Korasi, click Phoenix Necklace, F4, Vengeance, Korasi Spec, kill. The best part about the polypore is, as you saw in this clip, I hit back something like a 400, so all my Korasi had to do was spec a 36. So for the range setup, you want to have rune arrows, magic short bow, Ava's accumulator, and then d'hide. All the rest is still the same for the same strength bonus. Now for the pros and cons of range. For the pros, one pro is low risk, the second pro is low defense armor, so high vengeance hits back on the rusher, and the third pro is most rushers pray melee, so you can hit right through it with the. For the cons of range, the only one is that there's low risk, so less rushers will want to rush you. For the analysis of the range clip, it's exactly the same as the melee. There's no special setting up, unless you're actually using a runes crossbow, then you want to do the same thing as for the polypore staff. But in this clip, I'm actually wearing a range ammy. That's also a good choice because it increases the risk, so more rushers will want to rush you. So now I just wait for him to rush me, and I'm already potted in turmoil, same as always. He turns around, Venge, rushes, Vengeance, Phoenix, Korasi, Spec, same as always. Then heal up. Now for preparing what you do before you go into the wilderness. As you can see there, I venge up, and now I just have to wait 30 seconds. It's sped up really quickly, and right about here, it's unsped up. Now you want to Cerebrew, Restore, Super Attack, Super Strength to boost your hit points and strength and attack level. Lastly is your prayers. You want to put on your highest strength and attack boosting prayers, protect item, and then if you're on curses, you want to put on Berserker so that your boosted stats will last longer. Now here's your inventory setup. You want to have prayer potions because you will always have prayers activated. Ceredomin brews and restores to boost your life points. Super attack and super strength potion to boost stats. A spare ring of recoil because raggers will always attack you and probably break your equipped one. Phoenix necklace to stop yourself from dying from the claw spec. Korasi's sword to get the finishing blow on the rusher. Runes to cast vengeance. House teleports for an easy one-click escape, and high level food. So that is my whole Korasi anti-rushing guide. Thank you very much for watching, and it was my first guide, so I probably left a few things out. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment below. I would also like to give a special shout out to a light BAWZ for letting me anti-rush him in the Clan Wars portal. If you want examples from the real wilderness, you can watch any of my anti-rushing videos, and subscribe, like, comment, favorite, because it really helps me out. Thank you very much for watching.